Alright, so today we're going to do lesson 16. It is, if I can move my head out of the way, rounding whole numbers and estimating. This is some important stuff that you will use your whole life. And before we start, though, I want to build a little bit of background knowledge. You have to know place value. We went over place value a couple lessons ago, so I'm sure that you guys are right on it. If not, let's review. So, decimal point. In relation to the decimal point, where is the number located? That number, where that number is located, determines the value of that number. If I had $9 and the 9 was in the ones spot, which in relation to the decimal is one space over. So if anything is one space over from the decimal, it's in the one spot. If I had 9 there, I would be happy, but I would be even happier if I had a 9 in the 10 spot, which would be at least $90. 9 in the 100 spot, that would be $900. 9,000, 90,000, 900,000. So these are our place values. So if we're 1 over from the decimal, it's in the ones. 2 over, you're in the tens spot. 3 over is in the hundreds spot. 4 over is in the thousand spot. 5 over, 10,000. 6 over is in the 100,000 spot. So that's a little background information. You'll be asked to round to the nearest ones spot, or the tens, or the hundreds, or the thousands, so on and so forth. So that's important to know. So that was a little review. I'll leave that up as we go through our lesson. Alright, so what is rounding? I wrote a little statement here that kind of explains what it is. I like this statement. When we round a whole number, we are finding another whole number, usually ending in 0. Okay, that's basically what we're doing. So let me explain that a little bit more deeper. Okay, so here's a line. It's a line that goes, the mathematical sense of the line, it goes forever in opposite directions. How do we know that? We know it because these little arrows point forever. Okay, so somewhere way over there, because the line keeps going, is 0. But we're going to start at maybe, let's start at 20. And we're going to go by tens. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay? So, we're finding another whole number that usually ends in 0. So if we are rounding, let's say 47 is right about there. Would you not say? We are rounding, that means you're going to find the closest to the, let's say you're rounding to the nearest 10 spot. The 10 spot is the number 2 spaces to the left of the decimal. So we're going to be rounding to the nearest 10 on the number line here. So is 47, is it closer to 50 or is it closer to 40? Okay, so you can clearly see that 47 is closer to 50. So we're going to round up to 50. So your answer for this would be 50. What if we had, let's move this line a little bit down. What if we had 46? Is 46 closer to 40 or 50? 46 is closer to 50. Good. What if we had right in the middle, we're going to have 45. Okay? 45, a lot of people don't know, okay, is it closer to 40 or 50? Well, since it's an equal distance between 40 and 50, we are going to round up to 50. Okay? Once you get to the letter, or the number 44, 44 is closer to 40. So now you're going to round down to 40. Alright, so let's do a couple more different. Alright, so here's a number, 72. We want to round it to the nearest tens spot. Okay? So let's do a quick little number line. Here is 70. Here is 80. Here is 72. Okay? So we know that 72 is closer to 70. And so that would make, remember I said that we're rounding to a number that has a 0. So we're going to change this to a 0. Okay, so let's use that logic. What if we wanted to round, we rounded 72 to 70, okay? What if we wanted to round a different number? What if we wanted to round 770 to the nearest hundreds? Okay, let me erase this number line really quick. Do a different number line. Alright, so now we're at way out past 0. Here is 700. Here's 800 on our number line. Let's do, in the middle is 750. Alright, so we have 770, which is going to fall somewhere around there. 770. So it's pretty clear that 770 is closer to 800, which would make everything except what we're rounding to, since I said we're rounding to the nearest hundreds, everything to the right of that would be zeros. And since 770 is closer to 800 than 700, then this is going to round up to 8. All right? Okay, here's the next one I want to round. 6,800. All right, we're rounding this one to the nearest thousandths spot. If you haven't noticed the pattern is whatever you're rounding to, which you'll be given in the math problem, say you're rounding to the thousandth spot, it will tell you round to the nearest thousandth spot, or the nearest hundreds, or the nearest tens. If you've been noticing the pattern, everything to the right of what you're rounding to, in this case the thousands, turns to a 0 when you're rounding. So this 8 is going to turn to a 0. But the number right here that you're rounding to, that will either stay the same or go up. What determines if this is going to be, if we're going to round to 6,000 or 7,000? What determines that? What determines whether this is going to stay 6 or the number, which is 6 in the thousand spot, is going to turn to a 7? The number directly to the right of what you're rounding to will determine what happens to that number. So the 8 is going to be, let's write a little rule. Let's say 5 and up, you're going to round up. 4 and down, you're going to stay the same. Okay? 5 and up, round up. 4 and down, stay the same. Alright, so we look to this number right here. 8 says, is it 5 and up or 4 and down? Well, in this case, the 8 is above 5, so all the numbers 5 and up say round up, which means this 6 is going to round up to 7. And then, like we said earlier, everything below 7 turns to a 0. Alright? So, and this makes sense because 6,800 or 6,800 is a lot closer to 7,000 than it is to 6,000. So it's not going to stay the same at 6,000. It's going to round up to 7,000. Alright, so let's do a couple different problems. 5,800, we're rounding to the nearest thousand spot. So everything after that is going to be a 0. 1, 2, 3. But we want to determine whether this stays a 5 or it goes up and becomes a 6 when we're rounding. Okay, so you look directly to the right. 8, does that come into round up or the stay the same category? Well, 5 and up, which that would include 8, says round up. So what's 1 up from 5? 6. Good job. So there, 5,800 rounds up to 6,000. Alright, this one says round to the nearest tens, which would be this spot. So we know that 3,200 is going to stay the same. We don't know what that's going to be, and we know that's going to be 0. Because everything to the right of the 4 is going to be 0. Everything to the left is going to stay the same. But what happens to the 4? That is the question. Well, you look directly to the right. 5 and up, round up. So this 5 is going to tell the 4 to round up to 5. So that would be your answer there, 3,250. Round to the nearest hundred spot. Okay, so we're going to try what's in the hundred spot. Everything to the right of the hundred spot is 0. What determines what the 9 is going to be is the 5. Okay, the 5 says round up, 1 up. So 5 and up, round up. So this 9 is now going to be a 10. So this one actually, 951 rounds up to 1,000. And if you think about it on a number line, 951 is a lot closer to 1,000 than it is 0, right? All right, so the answer to this one's 1,000. 42, we're going to round to the nearest tens. So we know everything to the right of what we're rounding is going to be a 0. But what happens to the 4? That is determined by the number directly to the right. 5 and up, round up. Well, this isn't a number above 5, is it? It's below 5. So this is everything 4 and down stays the same. So the 4 stays the same. It does not round up. So that answer to that one would be 40. All right, so hopefully that helped. All right, so we're going to use estimate or rounding to estimate the cost of 2 items. All right, so we go to the store the other day. My wife wants a pair of pants, some jeans. I think we're at Costco, and they cost around $29. And she also wanted a shirt to go with her little outfit, and it costs around $14. So we're going to estimate the price, the total price of this outfit. Total, that would be adding. So instead of adding it up really quick, what I do in my head is I think, okay, 29, I'm going to round that to the nearest 10. So let me find a marker here. I like to do this. Oh, there's my brown marker. All right, so I'm going to round this to the nearest 10. So when I round this, I know that everything to the right of what the 10 spot is going to be 0. But what's going to be in the 10 spot? That's determined by what's right there. So I know that 29, 9 is 5 and up. It says round up. And I also know that 29 is pretty close to 30. So the 9 tells the 2 to round up. Okay, so this is going to be 30. Okay, this next one is 14. I know everything to the right of the 10 spot is going to be 0. But what happens to the 10 spot? That is determined by the 4. Now the 4s, 4 and down, stay the same. So this number in a 10 spot is going to stay the same. So I know now the answer to this problem is 30 plus 10. And keep in mind, this is an estimate. 30 plus 10 is $40. So I know in my head, I just think, oh, my wife wants $29 pants, $14 shirt. It's about 30 plus 10, $40. So this is about a $40 outfit. So that's how you can use rounding to estimate something quickly. Let's try a problem from your book. Okay, so we have 467 and 312. So let's round this to the nearest hundreds. And you'll get used to, your book doesn't tell you specifically to round to the nearest hundreds, but you'll find out what is significant and what you need to round to. Usually I round to the nearest tens when I'm shopping at Costco, but if I were to go shopping at, say, a jewelry store for my wife and I was buying jewelry, I might round to the nearest hundreds. So let's just estimate the cost of these 2 items of jewelry. So we're going to take 467 plus 312, round to the nearest hundreds. We know that everything to the right of the tens spot, I'm going to put a little dash right here to be a 10 spot. Everything to the right of the 10 spot is going to be a 0. So 0 that out. But what goes in the 100 spot here? I mean, everything to the right of the 100 spot is going to be a 0. What goes in the 100 spot? That is determined by the number directly to the right here. So 6, that's 5 and up. That goes into the 5 and up category. So 6 is going to tell the 4 to round up. So that's 500. 312. 312, is it closer to 300 or 400? Well, you look directly to the right, and that 1 falls into the 4 and down category. So the 3 will stay the same. Okay, then I just add those 2. I know 5 plus 3 is 8, and the zeros just 0 out. So the total cost of these 2 items of jewelry, use your imagination, necklace, earrings, whatever, is around $800. Okay, so hopefully that helps you make sense of rounding and how you can use rounding to estimate prices at the store.